Konnichiwa everybody, Demon Slayer in the house today. Founded way back in 1996, the development studio Cyberconnect 2 is the best known for the excellent work done with the hack brand during the PS2 era and the for adrenaline pumping combat based on the Naruto franchise and the other anime franchises. In fact, the developer has excited fans of Masashi Kishimoto for 17 years, perfecting from time to time, as always, extraordinary play offer that has reached its peak in the precise Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Fum Rasengan. Given the enormous popularity of the informed title when Sega and the Cyberconnect 2 announced the arena fighter based on Demon Slayer, both public and the critics immediately labeled its plausible successor of Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, also because the undeniable similarities between the two products. We spent several weeks in the company of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles, exposing the strengths and weakness of its articulated combat system and sifting through the story mode. The time has therefore come to wear the typical uniform of Demon Killer team and take an exam to verify whether or not the new creature of the Cyberconnect 2 has the necessary qualities to collect and make its own legacy left by most famous blonde ninja in the anime universe and the manga. So about Tanjiro. In the full respect of long-living tradition of the tie-ins, the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles, retraces step by step the troubled events told in the manga that gave rise to rampant phenomenon. Starting with the experiencing an absolutely unstable training in which the protagonist Kamajo Tanjiro was submitted by Mr. Urodaki Sakonji in order to take part in the final exam held every day by the Demon Slayer team. However, it should be noted that, as happened for the various episodes of Naruto, the titles does not adopt the entire epic born from the pen of Gotone Koyuharu, but the third in the total, his mad race is interrupted in facts, and in the end bloody clashes consume during the narrative of the arc Mugen Train, and recently admitted in the animated feature film in the same movie. So yeah, let's keep moving. In our opinion, a portion of history is aberrant and so painful and engaging that is canon between even those who approach the Hinokami Chronicles without having important previous knowledge about the phenomenal license. In the course of the 2020s started one record after another. Divided into 8 chapters, the story mode in short the beating heart of the production, but also its most controversial element due to a structure that is anything but brilliant. Similarity to what's done the adventure mode presented in Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series, the Cyberconnect 2 team has reconstructed the main scenarios of the Demon Slayer with great precision and meticulousness, in order to set the narrative segments from the tie-in within them. In the role of Tanjiro, the player is then called to make his way through a series of three-dimensional maps, each of which presents places of interest reaching in order to continue with the story and move on to the next scenario. In essence of this, the classic shift from point A to point B, which as usual is interpreted with the inevitable and somewhat real clashes with the demons, as well as the optional collection fragments of memories and Kimetsu points, luminous objects scattered in the maps and respectively necessary to unlock Tanjiro's non-playable memories. So the whole series of special rewards such as costumes, arenas, music, titles and images in which the user can modify their personal card at purely artistic level, we were totally encouraged by the superfine animated sequences in the cell shading proposed by the story mode. We absolutely cannot be as satisfied with the free roaming component. The scenarios often very little interaction and the excessively slow progress of the controlled characters ends up tiring. Moreover, the secondary activities are limited to the depressing collection of information, and in the long run they tend to become redundant. As a result, during the execution of the aforementioned, we almost felt the lack of the fact quasi presented in Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, which between one element asked at least undergo for. As a result, during the execution of the aforementioned, we almost felt the lack of the fetch quest presented in Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, which between one development and the other asked at least to undergo optional challenges and the clashes. Perhaps awaiting itself on collaboration on the teacher Goto herself, CyberConnect 2 could instead have exploited the main mode of its tight tell to short unpublished stories and avoid the annoying sensation of linearity that was perceived during free roaming with some tasty optional content. An operation certainly impact in more guided chapters of the campaign, where the player actually perceives the palpable urgency of the protagonist, but which certainly would have benefited the multiple sequences set in the various human settlements. Therefore, we hope that a similar solution will be adopted in the future by a hypothetical and not all unrealistic sequel to Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles. In the formal behind the story mode should be overhauled and overhauled to its delight. We most recognize the Tai combat system very rarely shows its side to imperfections. With a mapping of combats vaguely inspired by that of Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, at least as regards the basic actions such as the light attack or invisible chase, Demon Slayer is just and immediately and intuitive, but similarities between the two products end up here, where the chaotic titles dedicated to the blonde ninja of the Leaf Village put spectacularity because of the balance, often resorting to pounding button mashing. The Hinokami Chronicles, the CyberConnect 2 team, has preferred to adopt a different approach and package a much more technical combat system at its reason. In Demon Slayer, in effect, essential is to wait your moves, avoiding launching into reckless assaults, also because the tie-in is completely devoid of mechanics, techniques, or watch teleportations in the Dragon Ball Z, which is why every single error must be paid in blood. In attempt to diversify the newcomer from the preceder, the developers has for example equipped the fighters with the two special bars, one of which empathizes with the use of skills and automatically fills up at the second phase. Positioned in the lower part, the recognizer recharges with each hit. Infected or suffected at once failed allow both to increase for some time the strength of the character control through the impetus and unleash the destructive power of the final technique. As bizarre as it is, the particularity of the second bar is that there is no way to load it quickly, which prompts the user to choose the ideal moment to unleash all its power with the extreme accuracy and a pinch of healthy strategy. Even the support mechanisms have been particularly revised and expanded so much that they now provide 3 different actions. If pressing the appropriate button and randomly moment the fight brings the alien to the field and pushes him to attack the enemy, launching a request for help the exact moment in which you are about to suffer a blow causes to the partner, to in turn to save the starting fighter and save him from the immediate danger. Finally, the prolonged pressure of the input allows you to replace the control character with the partner, but since they share the life bar, the replacement does not restore any health. Among the complete notice playable on the Demon Slayer Chronicles, we find the battles with the multiple opponent, that is funny sequences, that is story mode see Tanjiro and his partner on duty dealing with the small groups of enemies. In these circumstances, changing the target is the key to staying ahead and quickly annihilating all the challenges. Still, in story mode, it is possible to use the so-called treat of the opening. To get rid of the common enemies, this is a mechanic that after parrying an aura, attacking and having drastic reduce to the opponent health allows you to hero score a single decisions blow. Directly from the last episodes of Naruto, however, the Demon Slayer has interacted the spectacular boss battles, the quick time events to be met in the final stages out of the challenges. If performed successfully, although supported by a grinding standing, it's precisely the boss fight have left a bitter taste in the mouth, since the very strong opponents at the end of chapter, they tend to use roughly the same wide range attack to be not very varied. Let it be clear that absolutely does not mean that the boss are weak. In fact, they seem much more demanding than those faced in Naruto, and especially in the last chapters when you will sweat 7 shirts to bring home an S and evolution. However, the patterns are not differ greatly to tend to be repetitive. If this saga of the blonde ninja CyberConnect 2 has accustomed to us immense and record breaking rosters with the Demon Slayer, it's evident that developer has encountered many difficulties in guaranteeing a minimum of the variety, being able to draw only the wrestlers who appeared the first seasons in the future film by Kimetsu no Yaiba. The team was able to put together the roster's 18 characters, including a clone protagonist with a different moveset, variants taken from the school spin-off Kimetsu no Gaiden. In regards, Sega announced that through launch support Demon Slayer, 6 playable demons will be introduced for free, including the Freak Zone Makaza and Enmoon 12 Daimonic Moons, beginning the content in addition to the story of the Demon Slayer. And training tutorial, a key mode essential to test yourself, familiarize yourself with the commands of review contents already unlocked. For those, they added the Clash mode, in which allows you to compete against the CPU or the second player, and the rewards where the users are free to spend all Kimetsu points collecting during the story. It's forcible to unlock all the contents that work otherwise as satisfy particularly not always reasonable requirements. We carried out the PlayStation 5 test where Tai managed to delight us an incredible artistic direction and absolutely faithful to the reference material. From the features to the movement of the protagonist, the CyberConnect 2 has been able to reproduce in extremely detailed way character design of Tanjiro, Nezuko, Zenitsu, and the other members of Demon Killer Squad. In various moments of the campaign, on other hand, the border that separates the video game from the anime created by Ufotable Studio becomes so thin, so imperceptible. In short, we find ourselves in a front excellent sailing, and we convicted to satisfy without any reservation fans the license, where the Tai inspicably use specially made soundtracks, the already magnificent anime cutscenes of Demon Slayer. Instead accomplished by the same wonderful melodies and sound effects that enjoyed so much in the first season of the anime, using the same voices used in the animation transportation. The original Japanese dubbing is characterized by excellent vocal combination and repetitive performances far superior to those of the English track, which therefore feel we should advise against. On the other hand, the localization in the text in German, Italian, and Russian also is good and fluent, which once again testifies the Sega with the ability to produce painstaking and amazing translations. Demon Slayer Chronicles is not exactly what we wanted, but as this is only the first in a creation of that we convinced to become a flag series of the plants Aniplex and Sega, the final product has nonetheless demonstrated considerable potential if the most lethal weapons of the time of the Demon Slayer packaged by CyberConnect 2 are represented by rather technical combat system by the standards of the Area Fighter, and by incredible artistic direction. On the contrary, its weak points are to be found at the moment in the roster, rather limited in the free roaming sequences of the story mode. Still too dull and redundant. To definitely answer the question that has haunted us for almost 2 years, but road to become legitimate heir of Naruto has undoubtedly been traced, but the task of following and trying to reach the convented goal would only be up to the future playful transpositions of the Demon Slayer, which will therefore have a remedy and shortcomings of this forerunner. Therefore, the trial of the blow that the Demon Slayer team will have to leave behind is still very long.